Oh, God. Caught me again, guys. Welcome to another riveting edition of The Ghost and the Goat. I am your host, paranormal investigator, little podcaster guy, Bunny's here, welcoming you into a most paranormal field. Join me tonight and each and every single week as I walk you. I feel like I'm walking you a little bit loud, as I walk you further into this paranormal world. Tonight we have a very special ghost guy like myself. Another ghost guy will join us this evening. I've had a lot of ghost guys on, I feel like, lately, because ghost guys always have the most amount of stuff other than the UFO guys to share. So it's always nice to talk to a fellow ghost guy. Now that I like know cryptids. Come on, cryptids. Bring it on. Show me stuff. More than just the banging on the trees. I just want to show me something. But anyway, that's what the show is all about. So I bring to you a bevy of different paranormal people. They talk about what they do. I talk about what they do. We talk about what we do. Blah, 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 blah. Beforehand, I pitch in a little sports. And this week is no different. Oh, that's good. It says the Guild, my glass, but it is not the Guild. It is, in fact, the home of episode 10, which is the much long-awaited episode 10 of Three Dudes Brews. If you follow me in any of the other podcasts I do this other podcast called Three Dudes Brews. Believe it or not, it's a show about beer. So, Three Dudes Brews episode 10 is set to crack open very soon. Very soon. Oh my God, Ed. I know you can do it, too. I know you got it in you. It puts together some doozies. But episode 10 is one of my personal favorites because it's one right off my bucket list. If you're from Rhode Island, make your way down to the Long Live Beer Works down there in Providence. This is Move Mountains. There's little triangles. They do things with little triangles. They do things with hops and stouts and IPAs and sours and pilsners and that PVD pills. If you don't like, dude, I don't like IPAs. Dude, go and get a PVD pills. So good, so delicious. Everything they do is magic. They have a brewery there in Providence, and they have a brewery there in Roxbury. If you're headed up to the Boston area, see my beloved Red Sox, which I'll get into in just a moment. Check them out. Check out episode 10, which will be ready to crack, I'm told. I was told Sunday, and then Sunday came and went. Ed, I never saw episode 10, but everybody's waiting to see it. It was a great show. It will not disappoint. We kind of took a different format, went a different road, but you'll see everything will come to fruition. And in our appreciation of great beer. So stay tuned for episode 10. Stay tuned also on Thursday night, as you'll see my face again as the dudes and myself come on and we talk everything and nothing, and of course good beers on live Three Dudes Brews the Last Call. Let's go. All right, so check that out. That will be on 7 p.m. Thank you for the love. 7 p.m. Thursday evening tonight. Before I throw that front door slider at you, and bring on tonight's paranormal guest, I'm gonna throw at you some. We'll start with baseball since I'm making all these like little puns about my beloved Red Sox. I said when the All-Star break happened, guys, watch out. They could go one of two ways. Historically, my Red Sox have always, with the exception of like 4 or 5 good years, always tanked in September. That's what we do best. But this year, we didn't tank after the All-Star break. In fact, we went into the All-Star break with 10 wins going in. We're on fire. 10 straight wins. Yeah. And then like we could flake out. I don't know what's going to happen. Trade deadline. There was so much rumors like they're going to trade Jared Duran. Jared Duran's crying. I love the Red Sox. I want to stay with the Red Sox. Don't trade me. All right, we're not going to trade Jared Duran. We're going to maybe we'll look at trading somebody else. They gave up a few prospects. They got the whitest man. I don't have a picture of him. The whitest man in the history of Caucasians. What's his name? Matz is the other guy. I forgot this guy. He's from the Dodgers. He is very light complexion. He's not. I'm not thrilled. They didn't go out and sign Magic. They didn't go out and sign superstars. They filled a few spots in their bullpen. If you maybe a starting, maybe the 5th guy in the pitching rotation. The Red Sox pitching rotation is looking quite stellar these days, which is nice for me to think about. We're getting good quality starts out of Giolito. We're getting good quality starts out of Bayo. He's thrown like at least 7-inning games. He threw a 9-inning a few weeks ago, almost hitless. So I mean, and then Garrett Crochet, of course, is our stud. So these other two positions, they come out and they're throwing a few quality starts. They're throwing a few different guys in there. It's working out for us. We're getting some really great hits on the field. We just swept the Houston Astros, who are ahead in the West. So right now, the current standings as it stands, the Red Sox are in second place. We were able to evict the evil empire of the New York Yankees out of that first wild card position and second place in the AL East. They are now 2.5 games behind us. We are facing this evening. We're playing. It's the end of the fourth inning. We're tied with the Royals 1-1. We beat the Royals last night. We are 3 games now, guys. If you would have caught me like 2 months ago, I was like, nah. I would have not expected myself to say this at this point in the season. We are 2.5 games ahead of the New York Yankees. We are 2.5 games on top of the wild card race. We're 3 games behind the Blue Jays, who hold the first league place in the American League East. And I heard this today. We are 5 games back from the best record in baseball. Never would I have expected to say that at this point in the season. I didn't even think we would overcome the Yankees like a month ago. And now we're 2.5 games above them. So that's lovely. I hope the Red Sox continue to win. Just stay consistent, guys. Take maybe 2 out of 3 games. You don't have to sweep everybody. We got the evil empire at the end of this month. It'll be fun to go into New York and really stick it to the Yankees again. And then maybe we'll make it to the playoffs, and maybe we'll make it. I don't know. I'm not saying the Red Sox are going to win the World Series. I'm not saying anything like that. There's some really, really good ball clubs. The Cubbies, the Phillies, Milwaukee Brewers. Let me take a sip of beer when I'm talking about beer. The Toronto Blue Jays. I don't want to take nothing away from them. Christ, the Houston Astros are still a decent team, guys. The Detroit Tigers on fire, 66 wins, 48 losses. There's still some heat. There's still some really good teams. But if we can cruise, set it on cruise control, win a couple games here, win a couple games there, you never know. The Red Sox could overtake the Blue Jays. We could win the division. We could get the first round bye in the playoffs. I'm not saying World Series, but good things could happen, boys and girls. So, my beloved Red Sox, they were able to hold on and do pretty well in July. We're on a 6-game winning streak. We've won the last 8 out of 9 games, and the last 17 home games, we've won 15 of them. So the Red Sox are on fire in Fenway, and playing good, feeling good. They got rid of that drama queen who went to San Francisco, and now he's playing at first base. And like he was playing at third base last year, he's making so many errors, so many mistakes. Not a good ball player, not a great attitude. He can hit the ball, but you know what? A lot of other people can hit the ball too, Rafa. You're not all that special. You should have just did it for the team. You would have still been playing here, but now you had to be a little bitch about it, and then they let you go. So this is going on in the Major League Baseball world. The Milwaukee Brewers still own the top winning percentage in the MLB, and the Red Sox, like I said a minute ago, are still ahead of the Yankees. In the NFL, training camp is like in its top form right now. They're in 15 days into training camp. I'm taking my clients. I work at a group home. I work in mental health. If those of y'all who don't know, I'm taking my clients to a Patriots training camp on Sunday. It will be, it'll be their last training camp at home. They're playing the next 2 weeks on the road. They host the Washington, Commanders on Friday night. I don't know. There's the media around New England. They're usually really shitting on the New England organization, but everybody's got some high hopes this year about the Patriots. May is going to play better under Josh McDaniels, and the magic of Tom Brady is going to come back to life. And yeah, I don't know. They got Stephon Diggs. He did wonders for Josh Allen's career. I hope he doesn't do the same for Drake May. I hope we have my fledgling Dolphins travel to New England week 2. I really hope we beat them. Tua is still undefeated at Gillette. I hope that continues. But with training camp rolling out and things happening, some of the biggest news from around the NFL are always the holdouts or the hold-ins. I don't know really what the difference is. These guys are like pretty much pissing and moaning that they, out of the multitudes of millions of dollars that their contracts are worth, they're still not getting paid enough, or they're not the highest paid position, and they think they should be. Or like, hey, this guy's a defensive lineman, and he makes more money than me, and I want more money. Some of the biggest little bitches of this year's NFL training camp, none other than from the Buffalo Bills, their running back James Cook. He's reported as a hold-in. Again, I didn't do my research. I don't know what that means, but he's one of the. I think he's sitting. I don't think he's practicing. Maybe he is. He's like, poor me. I want a new contract. We played so well last year. We made it all the way to what, the AFC championship game. I don't know, but they didn't win the Super Bowl. Anyway, again, they choked out in Buffalo. Anyway, he wants more money. He's the number one right now. The number two, Trey Hendrickson. Cincinnati's a cheap team. Every year they hold out right to the end, and then sometimes they pay the guy, sometimes they don't. This is a major piece of your line. You should really pay this guy, and they probably won't. They'll screw it up. Who knows? The third one is he's also a hold in. Yeah, if you guys know what that is, please shoot it into the chat line, the chat group. Maybe I'll figure it out. I'm not even looking at that. Anyway, I'm just whatever. Just shoot it out there. The third one is Jawan Jennings. He's I believe he's a wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. He's actually has a calf injury and he's not practicing at the moment. I don't know if he wants more money or not, but a man who does want more money and things really hasn't gone his way. And his name alone kind of scares me that he's going to go to another team, because the team he's with now is really garbage. But Micah Parsons is his talks with Jerry Rice have gone. They started back in March, and it seemed like it was going really good. And then, like everything else in Jerry Jones's life, he screwed this up too. And him and Micah Parsons aren't talking. They're talking shit about each other in the media. Micah Parsons is requesting a trade, and he's going to practices, but he's not doing anything. I guess he's just saying his goodbyes or whatever. Another guy who's saying his goodbyes, and there's talk of trading him. Another scary possibility for me personally is Terry McLaurin from the Washington Commanders. He's also requesting a trade. His talks for more money went south. They didn't want to pay him. He's a pretty good stud. He's had a good few seasons. I don't know if he's a superstar, but there's been talk that the Patriots might grab him because they got a ton of money to throw around. That would honestly scare me a little bit. New England, that would stud up Drake May's wide receiver core, and he'd have two studs. That would be a little bit much for my lack of a secondary in Miami to defend. So I don't know what would happen there. And then finally, Green Bay, Elgton Jenkins. He's practicing, but he's still a little bit upset. Some of the this is usually a thing in most years throughout the NFL. Some of the timeline for the more notable players in contract history. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. But some of the more popular ones. Eric Dickerson of the LA Rams back in 1985. They wouldn't pay him. He sat out the first two games of the 85 season before eventually returning to action and helping the LA Rams to the playoffs with his almost just over 1,200 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns that season. They went on to they got rid of him and they sent him to the Colts in 1987. Then the man, the myth, the legend, Bo Jackson. Bo knows everything. Bo Jackson sat out a whole year because he didn't want to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He went to baseball. He played for baseball. Then he jumped in the next year in the draft, and he got drafted by the LA Raiders, the then LA Raiders, and with drafted Jackson he did draft him Bo Jackson in the 7th round. Talk about insight. Then Raiders owner Al Davis allowing Jackson to wait to report to the team until baseball season had ended. Bo Jackson, if you don't know who Bo Jackson is, look him up. He was just like one of the best natural athletes of all time in both baseball and NFL history. Jamarcus Russell, 2007. Speaking of the Raiders, also held out. First week of training camp extended through the first week of the 2007 season before the Raiders signed their number 1 overall pick to a six-year deal. In hindsight, the Raiders wished they had let the holdout continue indefinitely because Jamarcus Russell went on to do absolutely nothing, and he sucked. A man who didn't suck and held out for a very good reason. Revis Island, Darrelle Revis, the best thing that came off the New York Jets in the last 40 years. After playing out his first 3 seasons with the Jets, Revis sat out all of training camp and preseason action, waiting for his new contract. He finally got a 4-year deal with the Jets a week before the team's regular season opener. You were in 2010. That was the best thing they had going. They were gonna. He knew he was gonna get paid. There was no doubt. That guy is the best thing to come off the Jets. Like I said, another holdout. Le'Veon Bell with the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2018, he considered setting out for the season if the team were to place the franchise tag on him for a second straight year. That March, the Steelers used the franchise tag on Bell, who refused to sign the tag and went on to sit out the entirety of the 2018 season. He signed with the Jets in free agency the following offseason and went on to suck because he played for the Jets. Let's see if there's anyone else on this list. Chris Jones, the KC Chiefs, a few years ago. He waited all the way to the week 1 season of game against the Lions. He suited up. He got a 1-year deal. He returned to the team just in time. Just in time for week 2. All right, yeah. Screw the Chiefs. They suck. Notable Cowboys, since the Cowboys are such a contention spot for holdouts. Dwayne Thomas in 1971 he's one of the most fascinating NFL stories. This 1970 first-round pick led the league in rush yards per attempt in his rookie season, then demanded a reworked contract ahead of his second year. The Cowboys didn't play ball, and Thomas ripped into the team before refusing to report to training camp. Dallas then traded the running back to the New England Patriots, but the Patriots petitioned then-league commissioner Pete Rozelle to avoid the trade within days, thanks to Thomas butting heads with then-head coach John Mazur. So Thomas headed back to Dallas and refused to speak to his fellow players, coaches, media during the 1971 season, a season in which he led the league in touchdowns before the Cowboys went on to win the Super Bowl. Dallas traded him to the Chargers the following offseason. After all that bullshit, I can imagine. Emmitt Smith, the workhorse, the stud, all-time great of the Dallas Cowboys, led the NFL in rushing yards, set just over 1,700 yards and 18 touchdowns in 1992. Then sat out of training camp in the Cowboys' first 2 games in 1993. Dallas went on 0-2 without Smith and paid him a 4-year, $13.6 million deal. He went on to lead the league once again in rushing yards for almost 1,500 yards, won the MVP, and helped the Cowboys win another Super Bowl, where he was named the game's MVP as well. Side note, they happened to beat the Buffalo Bills. I think that was like that 4th straight loss. I don't know. We'll find that out, I'm sure, eventually. Ezekiel Elliott, who ended up, he held out. He held out a training camp. He wanted a new contract before the 4th season began. They signed him 6-year, $90 million extension, which preceded 4 consecutive years of declining production before Dallas released him. He went to New England. He sucked even more in New England. And then Dallas took him back the following year for probably like a tenth of the contract price. So, with that said, there's probably way more. They're not high priced. I mean, they are kind of high priced. They are kind of like prima donnas. But they do give their body and their soul and their heart and expect to get paid. So I guess there's that. So like I said, week 1 of the preseason kicks off this week. My Miami Dolphins. Oh my God, the Tyreek situation. It's a drama show. Of course, it's a drama show. He just came out and reported saying that the last 3 years he hasn't understood the playbook. Dude, come on. We're paying you all this money. You're supposed to be the fastest guy in the NFL. Imagine how much faster you could be if you were like understanding these routes and what you were doing. Could explain the Dolphins' tumultuous last, 2, 3, 4, 6, 25 seasons. It just goes on and on. It's going to be another, it's just going to be another season for me, I believe. While I think the Dolphins are going to pull off a winning season, I think it will end, with probably a playoff loss to the Bills again, and like usually, and then Mike McDaniel will be like, "Fuck this," and he'll get fired, and he'll go on to get paid a ton more money and be like wicked successful as an offensive coordinator, and the Dolphins will continue to suck because that's what we do best. Ooh. Let me take a sip of beer, then I'm gonna switch gears. Oh, my beer does not suck like my Dolphins. It's pretty good like my Red Sox. So, switching over to the paranormal side, tonight's guest, he's an executive producer in charge of Death Walker with Nick Roth. Hold on, I gotta hold this closer because I'm a little blind. He has made numerous national television appearances, including shows like Paranormal Lockdown, America's Most Terrifying Places, Paranormal Night Shift, and My Paranormal Nightmare, just to name a few. He is the executive producer and cast member of the longest-running independent ghost hunting show, The Ghost Finders. The Ghost Finders is proud to be featured on Paraflix, Roku's Spirit Channel. I have Roku. That's fun, and can be found on Amazon Prime as well as other leading streaming services. He is a lifelong interest in the paranormal field since he was a child. He was raised in a haunted house, like many of the rest of us were, fortunately enough. And in 2012, he co-founded the Greater Western New York Paranormal Society, which was responsible for tracking some of the most challenging paranormal cases in the New York region. In June of 2015, he realized his lifelong dream, and he became the owner of the infamous, if you will, Hinsdale House, a home site of mysterious paranormal insect infestation activity. More about that in just a minute. And historical structural exorcisms, which have been featured in different books and featured on national network television series, became available for purchase. Wasting no time, he made an offer that was accepted, and he became the proud owner of that lovely home. The Hinsdale House is 1853 Hinsdale House is currently staged in the 1970s period dressing to maintain its integrity from the era when the hauntings began. The home is currently used as a paranormal research location. Please welcome to the show. Oh, Dan Klaes. Welcome to the show, dude.
How's it going?
Oh, dude, it's good. Great to have you on, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I haven't done many of these. We're doing good.
That's good. That's good. Proud, awesome father, dude. You're what you do with your daughter, what you do with your daughter's battle is absolutely inspiring. Just gotta say that, man. Just gotta say everything you guys put out there. It's her fight. It's inspiring. But I mean, what you guys do for is awesome. So just
you have a different perspective on life when you're around all these kids fighting cancer. So you have to step up.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So the paranormal, the Hinsdale House. It started as a kid. You started young. Well, how did it start? What were your first memories? What are your thoughts?
Just growing up in the house, parents tried to suppress everything that was happening, but things would happen, like we would be at church on Sunday, and then we'd come home and open the door, and there'd be like crayon drawings on the ceiling of our house with crayons sitting in the middle of the floor, stuff moving in the house, poltergeist activity. My sister's stuffed animals a lot got moved, and I often got blamed for teasing her. Because she was like OCD about her stuffed animals, putting them on her bed and making sure that they were all where they needed to be, and come home and they'd be sitting in the middle of the floor. That feeling of something watching you. I heard footsteps all the time. I was scared to go in the basement. Just the typical things. And then I remember my parents were going to Shirkston up in Canada. They were going camping up there, and I had asked if I could stay back with my best friend who lived 2 doors from my house, and that was fine. And we were going over to my house to get my G.I. Joe guys so we could play in the sand in his backyard. And we opened up the door, and we heard it sounded like a little kid singing "Ring Around the Rosie" from upstairs, and I wanted to get the hell out of there. He ran up the stairs, and when we ran past my sister's room, there was a stuffed animal and it sitting on the floor, and it just tipped over. My wife had seen, as I bought that house for my parents,
Oh, wow.
Not thinking. Yeah, I bought that house for my parents, and my kids started having some of the same things that happened to me. And my wife said she saw a little girl standing at the foot of the steps, and
Wow.
it was like my first Scooby Doo story of my life. Figuring it all out. To the point where I went to a Lilydale, spoke to a psychic there. She's telling me
Yep.
that there's two little kids in my house.
Yep.
I'm like, how do these people know this stuff? I
Hmm.
mean, that was what I thought. And after the
Right.
research, we found there was a little boy and a little girl that died of cystic fibrosis in the house.
Oh, wow.
We went up into the attic, which I had never been into my whole life. It's one of those like little boxes in the ceiling, and whoever goes
Yep.
up in those things,
Yeah,
unless
right.
you're so we went up there and we found a painting of a little boy and a little girl playing with a dog in the back corner of the
Oh,
of the
my God.
house.
That's creepy, dude.
So yeah,
That's a little creepy.
yeah, it's totally
So
good.
it
It was
wasn't
cool.
but it wasn't malevolent. It wasn't scary. They weren't
No,
like
no. I
demons
mean,
posing as children trying to take over your souls.
right,
Allegedly, right?
right.
The paranormal gives us this perspective sometimes, like a haunting. It kind of carries a negative connotation. Have you experienced that? Have you experienced a negative feeling, negative haunts,
Oh,
negative?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I have. And it's very few and far beyond, but yeah, some of the
Hmm.
cases that we've taken are not things that I wanted to deal with personally. Like going in and seeing some of the stuff that happened at the location, physical scratches in front of our eyes on a
Yep.
person that was being affected by a spirit. Um, the energy in the house was off the wall. Again, we had to call in friends from the Catholic Church. She was
Hmm.
Catholic, and they came and did a exorcism of the location. She, they asked me and the psychic medium on my team to stay at the house to help watch the client.
Yep.
While they did what they were supposed to do, and it felt like she like levitated off the couch. They also
Wow.
had this. They also had this golden, and it was old. It's
Mhm.
probably like 14, 15 years old, and didn't even get up to greet us. It's just laying there on the floor. And
Mm.
whatever they were doing upstairs, this thing got up and started running around like a puppy. Like it was like
Oh.
just all of a sudden had this big burst of energy. It was quite an experience for me to be
Would you
involved
would
with
you
it.
attribute would you attribute the dog's activity to something paranormal effect on the dog?
I don't know, man. Like they were doing something upstairs to try to get this negative energy out of the house, and the dog was reacting to it some way. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the whole time we were there, it was doing nothing.
Yep. Okay. So now with people say, hey, like we say negative. Some people just go to the D word. Obviously, I don't.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe, but do you feel like human spirits could be responsible for scratches and punches and pushes and levitation, or do you
yeah.
believe that it's clear
I mean,
evidence for a negative entity?
I feel like if you're dealing with energy, it could be the nicest spirit in the world trying to like,
Hmm.
it could be even trying to like shake your hand or give you a hug, and there could be a mark, perhaps. Like
Yep.
it's unknown. But we're dealing with energy, so nice or negative, they could definitely cause a mark on you if
Yep.
you're putting yourself into those situations.
For sure. For sure. What are some of the other indicators as an investigator for you that you're experiencing something that might not be human?
Well, I mean, when you take all the rationale out of what you're doing and try to um, figure out like why something's happening and you can't do it, and then you have collaboration with other people that are there with you. That's why you usually bring
Yep.
a few team members with you.
Of course.
The unknown, basically, just the
Yeah.
unknown of not knowing why it's happening, not being able to give a
Yep.
logical explanation as to why it's happening.
True. Well, a lot of spiritual activity, I really couldn't give a logical explanation for why it's happening. Um, I don't know.
No, but that's just kind of like that's how it would be something like in my hand, like, am I going to present this as a piece of evidence, or am I
Yep.
going to say that this could have happened because the wind blew through the window, or this
Right.
happened or that?
True.
Like, I'm able to debunk the happenings with a logical
Yeah.
explanation. I'll say it could be, maybe it is, maybe it's not, but the window was
Right.
open, or
And chances
this
are,
is
if you
shooting
can
off EMF.
recreate, like if you can
Yeah,
recreate stuff, chances are it's
yeah.
not right. Could be always be something else. People tend to scapegoat ghost. They go to
I
that.
get
They
a
go to ghost every single time almost.
Yeah, I get a lot of people that send me pictures, and a lot of it's hard sometimes because people want it to be something. They want it to
Mhm.
be their grandmother, they want it to be their uncle, and
Of course.
you don't want to like come crashing down on them. So, but
Hmm.
it's hard sometimes. They send me pictures, and I can clearly say why it's happening, but I don't want to
Yep.
like, I do let them know that this could cause this, but and then I always ask them, what do you feel?
Right.
And let them kind of, determine whether they want to believe it's their long lost gram or something. So
Yeah. We are just dust being moved by the HVAC system. I
sure.
had somebody send me a video this past week, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, what do you think of this?" And I'm like, I think it's dust. Honestly, I just think it's dust. They're like, well, stuff's happened in that room. My daughter's screaming in the middle of the night. She's talking to like imaginary friends, yada yada. There's been other paranormal stuff that's happened. I'm not saying that none of it's paranormal. I'm just saying that in particular, especially like orbs. What are you feeling on orbs, Dan? What are your thoughts on those?
I mean, most of it I can attribute to it being dust.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like an air conditioner turning on or something like that. It's I've seen some things that are orbish
Yeah.
that don't speculate, what a normal orb would look like, or if it
Mm-hmm.
has a different odd shape to it. Like I've had some cylinder shaped orbs with
Mm-hmm.
different colored hues in it with a camera that
Okay.
it's just that could make out like the torso of a person, or could be looks like more like a Tasmanian devil on
For sure.
a. So I mean, most of it I can attribute to logical things, but then there's some that I put question in my mind, like could that be something? I wish
Mm-hmm.
I just a lot of the times you wish you had more, like it's just like a
Yeah.
picture. It's like I wish I had that's why I always say it's important to take a series of pictures, like
Mm-hmm.
do the snap, the quick snaps, get 4 or 5, 6, 7 pictures in a
Yep.
row so you can follow it and see it. And sometimes you get your answer in the last picture. We did that with a
Mm-hmm.
lady that had this light, and it was in the last picture there's a spider hanging down
Mm-hmm.
on her camera, and then she had her answer that it was a spider web, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, whether you're proving something or disproving something, it's good to take multiple pictures for sure. Gives you more than one perspective. Um, I know one of the shows you do here is America's most terrifying places. What are for you? What are some of America's most terrifying places, and what makes them so terrifying?
Um, for me, the most terrifying locations that I've been to, spora miraculously are not like the typical, um, locations that you would, the most popular locations.
Mm-hmm.
But one that I had an experience at was, at a theater. It was called the Riviera Theater, and, we were doing our investigation there, and, when you experience something that you can't explain and it takes your breath away,
Yeah.
um, you get goosebumps up your arm. I get goosebumps just thinking about the experience I had there. But we had the
Yeah.
team down on the stage trying to recreate like actors and actresses coming out onto the stage and bowing, and we were using EMF to try to get the EMF detectors to go off on the left, center, and right side of the stages. And we had we're clapping in the crowd, and it was actually working. And then I broke off and went up into the mezzanine,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a supposedly a shadow figure up there that we were trying to capture. Um,
Mm-hmm.
had your typical, your laser grid on and your cameras rolling, and I just went up there and just sat, just
Yep.
wanted to see if anything happened. And this mask came out of the wall, and
Mm-hmm.
the thing that really, logically you think about stuff when this is happening. I'm seeing this with my own eyes. We captured it on camera.
Wow.
The laser lights were not penetrating through whatever it was, so it had to have some type of mass to it. It was like
Mm-hmm.
deflecting the light. And then when it was like a few inches away from me, and I just took like that deep breath, and I stopped breathing. You couldn't breathe because it was like right there.
Right.
And then it glided into the projection room, and I just remember like exhaling, getting up out of my seat, running down the stairs into the street. This is kind of like at the beginning of my career when I was, this is what I wanted, and it
Yeah.
happened. It scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't care who you
Sure.
are. Like, I don't care who you are when you're doing this crap. When something like that happens, don't tell me there's not a part of you that's going to like get bone chilling goosebumps up your spine, and you're
Oh
going to be like,
yeah. First
like,
time, 1,000th time for sure, man. It creeps me out just the feeling sometimes just creeps me out. Man, I get
yeah,
that feeling like, hey, you want to come down here with me down this hallway and help me set up this camera? Even though I don't need help setting up the camera, I always have people come and help me because that eerie, unsettling, like, oh God, like I know something's waiting for me down the end of this hallway feeling. Yeah. So,
and then there's
good.
no, I was gonna say then there's like people that will say like, oh, it never happens to me, but like you're not on week, you're going to a hockey game on Saturday, and I'm going in a dark room at a known haunted location trying to
Mm-hmm.
find this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
we're putting ourselves in the element, we're putting
Yeah.
ourselves into a known potential haunting that we're trying to figure out what's going on for a client, or trying to figure out what's going on for a television show or a podcast or a YouTube show or something like that. And, we're putting ourselves right in there. So it's,
Trying
I
to
think,
have an experience for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
trying to, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
even though the percentage isn't that high, the percentage is probably a little higher, I would think, putting yourself into those situations.
Yeah. While something doesn't always necessarily happen as severe as like a mass coming out of the wall, um,
Yeah,
different
that was,
energies like that
yeah,
are present even can make you feel a certain way. And I think that could validate an experience. Or then nothing could happen at all, and everybody's like leaves there like, yeah, I didn't really feel anything. I didn't experience. We didn't have nothing happen. Everybody go home and start listening to recorders. It's like, wow, listen to this. Oh my god, listen to this. So you just really never know what's going to come through or when it's going to come through. So as an investigator, this is kind of cool. I find this kind of cool too. I go to a place that's like ridiculously active one week, and then I'll go back there the next week, and it's dead. No pun intended. Does that happen? Yeah, is that a thing that
yeah. I
you?
mean, I feel like it happens at the house sometimes, just like getting talking to the teams that come in. One day it'll be super active, then it dies down. I don't know. It's like, does the energy have to replenish itself? I mean,
Mhm.
the amount of people that come into the Hinsdale house, it's almost every day. Especially in the
Oh
summertime,
yeah,
we're getting people every day asking the same questions. People, energies might be getting bored with it.
yeah.
You
It's
got to
like
give it a breather once in a while.
same old, same old.
It
Do you think
reminded
the
me of a
weather?
story.
Do you think like the weather or the moon effects have any bearing on paranormal energy whatsoever?
I mean, it could. I mean,
Yeah,
if it's a
like full moon.
lightning,
Do you notice any difference during the full moons at all?
I mean, I personally haven't, but people like to book those days out way in advance.
Yeah,
They feel like blood moons, full moon. They feel like it's definitely more spiritual. Um,
maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
I can't speak on the dead. I do make a career in working in mental health, and I can tell you for sure on full moon days that there have been some people who have just a little bit overactive, just a little bit over symptomatic. I don't know. There's been not a lot of studies because there's not a ton of research that's going into it, but it's definitely an interesting topic. It's definitely
Yeah,
something that, as a mental health worker, everybody swears by. Everybody swears it's the thing because you have like a terrible day, tumultuous day. It's like, oh, it's a full moon. That's exactly. Yeah, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but maybe. Yeah,
retrograde, whatever.
yeah, right. The
Mercury
planets and
retrograde.
shit. The
I
gravity.
try I try
Maybe.
not to I try not to play into all that stuff because I just feel like if I let that set the tone for how I'm going to react to things today, I need to
Hmm.
keep. I need to try to stay consistent with my
Yeah.
beliefs, and I just if something crappy happens, I just say that's life. Let's move. Let's
Right.
fix it. Move on. Everybody
Yeah.
has car problems. It's not the moon. Come on. It's
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
crap happens. And we just got to deal
Yeah.
with it as it roll with the punches. But
For
I
sure.
don't know. It's just my mentality. That was
Right.
you were talking about before about how things, sometimes you go and things don't happen. You go back listening to EVPs. It just reminded me of this funny story. There was this her name, her friend of mine, Bobby Ann Merritt. She's come to the house quite a bit and doing research, and her team name is called the Warriors of the Paranormal. And I remember asking her, I'm like, well, how did your night go? And she's like, oh, it was quiet. Nothing happened. Right. So,
Right.
so the next day she's blowing up my phone and she's like, oh my God. I go, well, what happened? She goes, you got to see these videos. So she had cameras running as they were sleeping. And she was sleeping on the couch. And on the video, you see like this shadow. And then all of a sudden, the blanket that has over the top of her, it looks like an arm goes underneath the blanket like this. The blanket levitates up and then pops down.
Oh,
and then a few seconds later, now she's like kind of curled up, so there's a space in between her chest and her knees on the couch, kind of like a curl up in a ball. So that area, that little triangle area between the back of the couch, her chest and her knees, all of a sudden it looks like a head like pops up out of underneath the blanket and then goes down. And then the shadow comes towards the camera a few seconds later, and the energy's gone. The camera's off. Boom, done.
She got this on video?
Yeah. Oh, I have the videos on my YouTube if you want to go check them out.
That's awesome. I would definitely do that. Yeah, that's like, you don't that's like good for her for having the cameras rolling.
Yes.
Because you don't always anticipate shit like that's gonna happen, especially on a quiet night. So it's like, want to go quiet. That's insane, dude. That's like next level catching something, That's like, that doesn't happen all the time.
This is why we have the ghost cam service now at our house, at the Hinsdale House. We have 5 pre-installed cameras with HD video and sound, and from the moment the team checks in until they check out, we have those cameras rolling. So if they need, like, do you ever have you're investigating, you're like, you hear something in the other room, you're like, damn, I wish I had a camera rolling.
Right.
Well, we do. And they can retrieve that footage.
Wow.
If they need it.
That's a great that's a nice little.
Oh, we've caught some great stuff off of that, for teams, and some of them let us use some of the footage and put it out on Patreon or YouTube or something for everybody, or on Facebook. But yeah, I mean, we've caught some amazing EVPs, things moving on their own. Like it's such a cool service to have.
Sure. Especially as like a guy who owns a paranormal house, a guy who's not just in this for the profit, obviously, but a person who's like looking to expand the field and research and whatnot. To have that as in your back pocket, to that kind of like a research lab, essentially.
Yeah.
For the paranormal, be able to access that at any time. That's incredible. That's for any investigator. People trying to get in the field. Not everybody invites you into their homes. I mean, I get that a lot, but I mean, not everybody's able to do that. So you have these locations that aren't ridiculously priced, which is key, and they're available to book and to go in and have those experiences. That's tremendous. It's a great. I have a location here in Rhode Island. It's a local Rhode Island Historical Museum. I've investigated there well over 30 times, and I have a key. I have the alarm code. I'm a docent there, so I can go in and like, hey, I'm gonna go to the museum tonight, and just kind of like hang out and sit and see what I can get. Yeah, go ahead. Just to have that, to be able to try it out on different nights, to try it out on different conditions and the different investigators. Does it make a difference whether it's a male or a female? Do you find any of that? You're able to collect any of that data on that small level?
Oh my God, we've been collecting data at the house for years, and we've actually been able to put like charts together, like like where the hot spots are, where things happen, what happened on this day, what happened, all this data we've been compiling and putting into a booklet form for the teams to look at when they come there. The more data, the better.
Oh, for sure. A certain like, obviously, there's probably more than one spirit at Hinsdale, I would imagine.
Yeah, yes. I mean, we've captured numerous ones that are not the same. So.
Oh wow. There's certain spirits triggered by certain, like, if a certain topic that you discuss, or a certain like toy, or there's something that will trigger it. Have you nailed it down to that?
I mean, certain ones we can attribute to that, like a lot that, obviously a lot of research has been done into the Dandy family that lived there in the 70s. But now that we've been able to expand the research on the house and the history, we've been able to get other names. We've also had, investigators that were part of the location that would go there a lot, that helped me do some of the renovations that passed away that we've gotten at the house.
Wow.
Which was recently, and
That's
people are investigating, and they're like, "What does this name mean?" I'm like, "Wow," because Jeff just passed away, or Corky just passed away. We haven't gotten anything with him yet, but because he's just very, very recent. But Jeff, he was came to the house a lot and investigated. Always willing to lend a helping hand if we had a project going on, and such a good guy, and died of cancer at too young. But we have he's communicated with us there.
Yeah.
And he's been at other locations as well. Wildwood, Sweet Home Estates, they're some of his favorite stomping grounds.
Maybe like attached to you, or is he attached to certain investigators?
I don't think he's attached to me, because the research that was done at the other locations, I wasn't there and he was coming through. So it was more, I think it's more or less what his passion was while he was living, is at being at these locations. And maybe he can be a key partner in this afterlife research if he can give us some information on what he's seeing in the afterlife.
Imagine having that kind of connection on the other side.
Yeah. I feel pretty connected with a psychic that I was doing a podcast with. Her name was Bernice Golden, and she's come through quite a few times. And she always said she was immobile, but she always said she'd see me at the house. She wanted to go to the house so bad, and she never got to go. And
she passed, and now she visits you spiritually.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. That's kind of cool.
Got
her legs, got her ability to move around, and that's.
What she told me has come true many times.
So cool.
And before I even bought the house, she was telling me what was gonna happen, and I didn't believe her. Now I see the stuff that's laid out.
Jesus, it's spiritual mediums never fail to. I mean, they do sometimes. They fail, and then it's like, I'm never gonna bother with this person again. But I'll have people on the show. I had a medium. My aunt moved to South Carolina, and she made a recent visit to Savannah, and she met a medium. She's like, "Well, you gotta have this guy on your show." I'm like, all right, and brought him on. Never met the guy. Didn't know a thing about this guy. Didn't know a thing about me. And he starts talking about my wife who passed away. He starts talking about intimate details, like, oh Jesus, how do you know this? How do you know this kind of shit about me, dude? How do you know this kind of shit about my wife? It's just some of the things that people come out with.
I know.
It blows my mind. It blows. I mean, I know there's social media. I know there's Facebook. I know there's the internet's very easy. But even on investigations, I told people this before. I had this story. I had a house in Attleboro I was investigating. It was an old pig farm. It took me months of research to dig a lot of this stuff up. And I called Medium. I'm like, hey, after we went through there, my team went through there 3 or 4 times. I want to do a walkthrough with you. I have this house in Attleboro. She's like, all right. And about an hour before I'm set to meet her, I send her the address on Messenger. So she's as blind as possible. She comes from Connecticut. So it's a good 45-minute drive. So she's not going to have the time to do research as she's driving from Connecticut, or is my thought, which she didn't. She got down there. We were in the basement of this house. And she's like, oh, my God, I'm seeing, oh, my God, it's horrible. I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, I'm seeing it's like a man, and he's got these bodies, and they're hung upside down. And she's like, oh, my God, she's like, that he's cutting them from the neck to the groin, and he's disemboweling these people. What happened here? I'm like, is it people you're seeing? She's like, no, I'm just seeing bodies. I can't really, but it's him cutting these bodies open. I'm like, this used to be a pig farm, and this basement that we're standing in is where he used to slaughter the pigs and hang them upside and all that. They found tools of his underneath the basement, underneath this crawl space. Still had blood on them. Still had the knife. Still had the shit that he would use to slaughter the pigs with and to cut them open with. And the man was apparently not a very nice man. But the fact that she could see this shit and that she knew this stuff, There's no way. There is no way this woman would have found this out on an internet search in like 15 minutes. It's just
Yeah.
not at all plausible.
Yeah, I've had,
So
I
for
think
her to be seeing this kind of stuff, dude.
quite a few instances where psychics have blown me away for sure. Like I was doing this we do this meetup down in downtown Buffalo at the Ukrainian Center, and we do a
Yep.
walkthrough investigation with people that have never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl, she's in my group, she's behind me, and never met her before in my life, doesn't know me, doesn't know, this is the first time we've ever met. And she goes, I know this is going to sound weird, but there's a gentleman telling me to tell you to turn your hat around. I go, what? She goes, yeah, he's telling you to turn your hat around. I like, okay. And she says he knows you have some of his stuff. And she's pinpointing at my house. She goes, by your recliner and in your closet in your bedroom, he's pinpointing. I'm like, oh my God, like my grandfather. He started the North Tonawanda National Little League baseball, thing. I grew up playing baseball, and every time I had my hat on backward, he always say, Danny, turn your hat around the right way, and I had in my closet, when he passed away, and I still have them. I have his North Tonawanda National Little League umping hat, and I have a couple of his umping shirts in my closet, and I had his hat next to my chair in my living room, and she's pinpointing this, like
exactly where it is.
Yeah, like who I said, who is this? Who are you? I instantly fell in love with this psychic. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like this is she has unbelievable sight of the past, and she's pinpointing certain. I don't know. I was blown away. It made me more of a believer.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. People like that, just like there's no way there's no way you're gonna know this stuff. Like people have told me like my wife's dying words to me. Like, how do you know? I've never told anybody this, and now you're telling me this.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. Just things I'm doing with my life. Like, how do you know all this stuff? How do you know that I'm doing this? How do you know I painted a room that colored for her? How do you know any of this stuff? So it's just it's absolutely fascinating. I think Carl Jung definitely had something going on when he was talking about synchronicity over 100 years ago. But it's all very cool. Another thing that's very cool in the paranormal, and you talked about it earlier, and I wanted to come back to it. I'm like kind of on the fence. It's about seeing shadow people, right? Seeing a shadow person in a particular area. For you, is a shadow person a separate entity, or is it like how the light is like going through this like glass of beer and casting a shadow on the wall behind me? Is it like that? Is it we just don't see this certain light spectrum, or is it an actual being? Is it a separate being?
I feel like it's a being. In the time that I've been able to research a shadow figure, I feel like it's just not a fully manifested spirit yet, and it's just doesn't like it could be like a newly crossed over person that doesn't know how to fully manifest yet, because there's been a lot of times where we've encountered shadow figures. They look like a shadow, but then when you get closer to them, they look like a person. Like it's a human, like 100%. A human form. But I don't. That's kind of what I feel like they are. But then of course you have the stories of like the Hat Man and the stuff like that are different, that are coming around at different times, and there are many people's stories from all over the world. So maybe there's more to it, but the ones that we've encountered like face to face and confronted, that we've been able to like kind of see that they are human spirits.
I've always heard people say you only see them out of the corner of your eyes. I was working in a group home before, when I was like, no, this isn't real. Stop telling me ghost stories. I was working an overnight shift in a group home 25 years ago, and stuff started slowly happening and slowly building. And then one night I heard the motion sensors going off in a bedroom. I was expecting a kid to come out. I turn around, I see a figure coming out of this room. It's coming out of a dark room, and it was a shadow, and it walked right in front of me, and then it like instantly like disappeared. And then from that point on, I've been like, I believe in ghosts all day. It did look humanoid though. It had the shoulders, it had the strut, it had the head, the figure, the head, the shoulder, the arms. It was about like up to here on me, so I'm like 6'4", so it's probably like 5'5", 5'6". really humanoid looking, really scared the shit out of me in the moment.
I
There are other people in the house reported seeing a figure similar to that size, but they would see the woman. They'd see the dress. They'd see her going up the stairs. Do you think that's based on perspective? Do you think we're seeing shadows because our eyes aren't attuned to seeing spirits? Or do you still
Yeah, I
feel that?
mean, I don't know. I feel like you can get more in tune with it too the more you do it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like. I feel like I've been able to um, more or less like when I go to a location, I can kind of, and it's weird because you say you feel stuff, you know, like you feel
Yeah,
stuff here, you feel stuff. I don't know. I feel like I understand like where the energy is coming from sometimes in the location,
yeah,
and I tend to go towards that. Not for any reason whatsoever, just that I've been doing it for so long, and I kind of just know to go with my gut instinct. But
yep,
as far as like the what we see with our eyes, what we capture on pictures, you're dealing with energy. So
yeah.
maybe somebody's more in tune with it than I am, and are able to focus more than use different brain part of their brain than I am. I don't know, but
Maybe I've noticed in recent years I do a little bit more Reiki here and there. I do a little bit more work with energy and stuff, and I'm seeing people now. I haven't seen shadows in years. I just see what appears like a person at first, and then it's like, oh no, I think I just saw a ghost. It doesn't happen all the time though. I don't like. I'm not like these mediums who are seeing people all the time, seeing people in the supermarket, begging them to talk. None of that happens to me. I'm just every now and again, I'll like, huh, is that? And then there'll be no one there. It's like, and then like sometimes I'll research it and I'll find like that person, which is awesome. You find like a description of that person that you saw in history, in
yeah,
that house. It's like, holy shit! I think I just saw the Joe Lombardi, and he died in like 1950. Like, wow, crazy. Um, Jason said that they you don't think it's so black and white. I don't think it's so black and white. I think we have no idea. I think shadow people are a very gray area, like almost anything else. I saw a picture when I first started investigating. My wife worked for this lab out in Smithfield, and one of her coworkers said, "Hey, your husband's in that paranormal shit, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." It's like, show him this picture. Her brother and his friend went out to like spot different locations for deer hunting in around like western Rhode Island. It's very rural. A lot of old cemeteries. There was one old cemetery next to the old Pontiganza Reservoir. You don't nobody probably knows what that is, but anybody from Rhode Island knows Pontiganza Reservoir is where that is. So he was taking a picture, and about a dozen pictures, and in like one of the last ones, he's about to get back in the car, and his friend snapped the picture, and they didn't see it until when they had the photos developed. How long ago this was? And it's a man. It's not. You can't see the man. It's a shadow though. You can see the brim hat. You can see that long coat, and you see his hand. His hand's going like this. And just to the right of him, of this shadow person, is a cemetery. One of these old cemeteries. Do you think that's like a gatekeeper? Is that something like that's elemental? What are your thoughts on that, Dan? What do you think that something like
yeah.
that?
I mean, I hate to think that when we die, we just have to hang out by our graves 24/7. You know, like
Fuck too.
um, yeah, that would stink, man. So hopefully we can explore and
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to get
but
around to be honest with you.
yeah, I mean, could there be a gatekeeper? Could there be, things that we don't understand or know for sure? I
Like a
mean,
keeper of the dead, like a cemetery. Somebody said like a guardian of the cemetery.
well, I mean, even in ancient cultures, Native American cultures, they have, you know, uh, the pukwudgie or things like that are,
All right, yeah,
like,
that's popular up this way, the Pukwudgie.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're supposed to be the protector of Native American burial grounds. So I mean, it's
Yep,
maybe there's a cryptid of some kind that is,
could be, could
yeah,
be.
who knows?
Very interesting stuff.
It really
Nonetheless,
is.
it never bores me either. Never gets old. Never gets boring. Even when you think, like I said, even when you think you're having a slow night, it's like holy shit, all this stuff was going on, and we had no idea. So bucket list for you, Dan, as an investigator. Where are your top three places that you want to get to and investigate?
Well, my top one would be like having the catacombs in Paris to myself
Yeah.
for
Oh yeah.
just an hour. That would be just an hour would be amazing. Just to be able to
Right.
just like go there and suck up the energy. I think it would be amazing to be able to go in some of the old pyramids in Egypt.
Hmm. Hmm.
Rob from the Ghost Finders has actually got to do that, which I'm jealous of. But That would be amazing, and I'd love to be able to spend the night at in maybe like Edinburgh Castle or
Oh yeah,
something like that, just with
super
all that
old.
history or
Oh yeah,
yeah, just
wow.
but cleared out like nobody else in there. Just
Right.
put the guards out front and let me go at it for a night just to see what
Yeah,
I
just a
can.
couple hours of dead silence. Let me see. Yeah,
Yeah.
all that energy that might be trapped in that stone. That oh my god! All, you think about all
Well, I
that.
guess yeah. I mean, we're so it's so new here. You know, it is old. There's a lot of
Yeah,
old stuff, but I mean, what we're investigating is fairly new. The buildings and stuff compared to what you get over in Europe. My
yeah.
God, it's unbelievable.
Thousands of years old. A good friend of mine, Charles, investigates with us. He did a number of investigations out there in Wales. Few of the places he got, he swore were in Welsh, languages that are over 1,000 years old that not a lot of people speak anymore. It's like crazy how they come through in different languages. You ever get EVPs in
Yeah,
other languages? You ever get that? Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've gotten them. We were at the in Old Fort Niagara, and we were
Oh,
getting
nice. Yeah.
we were doing Jesuit chants and stuff like that, and we were getting EVPs in French,
Oh
which is kind of
shit.
cool. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I went there on my honeymoon. We saw my wife put on and said, "Look, there's a ghost here," and then there was like an article from the ghost in the kitchen or whatever. That was kind of cool. It's like weird feelings, but never anything. We didn't actually see anything, but it's a nice cool area up there.
We've captured some full body apparitions there.
Oh
It
wow,
looks like soldiers.
oh
We've had
wow,
things
like
move
photos
like
or video or photos.
photos and video. You know, we used to do tours there, and we while we were doing some of the tours, we've caught some amazing full body apparitions. Out by
Mhm.
the bunkers, we caught what looks like a soldier. You could see the gun, everything, but it's weird in the pictures. It, I don't know if what this means, but you'll see like a black spot on certain parts of the soldier,
Hmm.
and somebody told me that that's their impact zone of where they died, the black. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know,
right. Maybe.
but yeah, we've caught some cool stuff there.
That's awesome.
When they used to let us investigate it, they haven't really let us in years. So
Being from New York, you're right in the heart almost of not in the heart, but there's a lot of like really super historical places right around you. In New York, you got the Waverly Hills. That's no, not Waverly Hills. No,
yeah,
it's not
Rolling
Rolling Hills.
Hills,
Rolling Hills. Rolling
Rolling
Hills.
Hills Asylum, yeah, in East Bethany, yeah,
Good
yeah.
site. Have you been?
That's it. Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
friends with Sharon, and we actually filmed Death Walker there and did some really cool experiments there. And
nice.
she's got really amazing location there, and it's really cool because like when we go and promote, you know, like if we're going to a Paracon or in a convention, we kind of all work together, the local owners of the locations and helping promote
Mm.
each other, and we keep our prices low, you know, to try to
Yeah,
help
that's
teams
awesome.
out and like Wildwood Sanitarium. There's Greystone Manor. There's uh, Rolling Hills, which they're, I mean, for the size of the building, they're very fair with the pricing.
Hmm.
You know, as far as like the investigations go, there's this newer place called Sweet Home Estates that he's very fair with the cost. Iron Island Museum is very good with their price. You know, we all help promote each other and draw people in and make paranormal weekends for people when they come to
Yeah,
Western New York.
yeah. It's a great experience that they have that. They have it at reasonable prices. That's the other like key draw for investigating. Like myself, we don't do this as a full time job, of course. This is just a passion, and we have to put money into it and travel expenses and all that stuff. When you got to travel across the country to go and investigate somewhere, and have them like pull the rug out from under you, that's really shitty.
It's hard.
Um,
It
yeah,
is. Oh,
and
I've been there myself, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
when I bought the house, my part of what I wanted to do is make it affordable for people, you know,
yeah.
like I want to be able to, I want to be able to use the money to help fix it up, but we have a long-term plan for that and it's been
Hmm.
working. And the fact that every day is almost booked shows that it's appreciated, you know, like I
Yeah,
think
for sure.
I'd rather have people come in there and utilizing the location than charging $1,000 and only booking one night a week. you know, and I'd rather have people there. You get more evidence, you get more picture, you get more of everything when you have different people there
too, man. It's a better feel when, I don't know, it's when you're not like raping people for money to come in and investigate and whatnot. It's
absolutely.
When you're not robbing people. Being from, I'm in Rhode Island. I'm not going to mention her, but of course, there's that location in Rhode Island that was kind of known for that, and it kind of. Do you feel any backlash being an owner of a paranormal location with all the nonsense that was caused by that individual here in Rhode Island, or is that not even touch you guys?
Didn't touch. I think that we have our own reputation. You know, people. You know, do we get backlash every now and then? Sure, but I still, even if I get backlash, I still try to reach out to that person directly and try to figure out where the problem was and try to solve it. You know, I'm not one to sit back and not handle things. So
blame it on other people and others.
You'll find that there's some people you just can't please, but 9 times out of 10, I think it's just things are misunderstood.
Yeah.
You know, or
probably
whatever, miscommunication or whatever, you know. I don't know about with her, but
it just makes the field, it makes those of us that are in this for a good cause, a good reason. It just makes it, I don't know, it just gives us a bad, I don't know. It doesn't, I have a good reputation.
The people that help me, we take care of them. You know, the ones that help run the tours. You know, I'm not stiff arming them. They they come. I appreciate their expertise and knowing that I can't be there every day, especially now, like this past year with my daughter. It's very hard for me to be able to go and run a tour. So the people that have stepped up are, you know, amazing, you know, and I make sure that we take care of them. And it's not even if a group comes in, if I have like Rod or Jackie or Diana or whoever's running a tour and we sell 10 tickets, they get half of it. You know, they're doing the work.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
that's awesome.
Yeah, I want people to feel appreciated, and I feel like it's giving back. The more they'll give back to the location if you take care of them. You know,
for sure, 100%. That's awesome. So, what can people expect to experience when they go to the Hinsdale House? What is what's the height? What's the most experienced people have had, and what's like the least? What is it? What's the range? What are you?
I mean, if the house is quiet, a lot of the times people get stuff outside the building. I mean, if anybody's seen Paranormal or not Paranormal Lockdown, Death Walker, you know, since Paranormal Lockdown, Nick has been investigating. That's how I met Nick, and he's been with me hand in hand investigating the location. And we've actually uncovered quite a lot with his assistants and his cousin's assistants and his wife. We've actually found an old grave, unmarked grave site on the property, possible burial shaft with numerous graves in it.
Really?
Through using penetrating radar. Oh yeah, like it's like one thing after another. Like the whole right side of the pond when I first bought the house couldn't even go over there because it was all swamped out from the aquifer that filled the pond. And I had to, you know, I mean, it took me having to find the source, put it underground in a tube and then dig this big trench to go to the pond. So all the water went through the tube.
Yep.
Right side of the pond. And that I have from the past, that was never swampy. And then that's when we found the graves. And then that's also when we also found an underground, like we started flattening it out and found an old foundation that we can't explain what it is. It's all stone tool, and started excavating that out, which is so far we have like one wall done.
Wow.
And then up in the front of the pond, they found could be possibly 3 to 4 bodies in the same shaft. So they're all marked. This is just recent.
Jesus.
And so I mean, it's just like a big puzzle piece. So the benefits of owning a location, you can do the ultimate research that you wish could be done, and then share that knowledge with people that are investigating there, so they have more.
Oh my God! It must be a hell of a collective. This the land that this house sits on. What's the history of the land? What was it before? It was a haunted house.
It
That's
was just
interesting.
a piece of land
Yep.
that we have it dating back to 1853.
Yep.
But before that, there's
Was it a farm or was it what did they?
yeah, there was a barn there. There used to be a barn there, so there was a
Mhm.
farm. We do have pictures of the barn with animals and stuff. They built a pond there in the 1970s, and that's when kind of all the stories of the demonic things happening at the house started coming across in the 70s.
Oh wow.
Um, and then it just, activity has been being researched from that point on all the way till now, and people are experiencing things there.
Do you think
I've
with
looked into
the
ley lines, I've looked into energy. I've looked
Oh
into a lot of
wow.
different things with that house.
Wow, that's pretty intense. Do you think with this building of this pond and this area getting swamped out, do you think that might have like coincided with some of the activity? Do you think they, I don't know, opened something up
It
when
could have,
they?
it could be. I mean,
Yeah,
definitely the fact that we had forensic divers dive the pond, because there's a lot of folklore stories about things that are in that pond,
that's
and they pulled up one of a broken grave marker out of the pond that tells me that
wow,
the pond was that maybe this
incredible.
this unmarked grave site was marked at one point, and then whoever was
Oh,
building that pond knocked over the grave, because they found the other half of the grave marker in the ground with the GPR and dumped it into the pond, and then they were just
so
forgotten. So maybe I would be pissed too if my
oh
grave
yeah,
marker was.
I can imagine for sure. Now, is that what led you to find the grave shaft? To finding the grave marker at the bottom of the pond?
No, they found the grave and part of the grave marker, and then when the divers were doing the pond the next week, they pulled it up out of the pond.
Mhm. Oh wow. But I mean, before you guys went down into the pond, did you know that there were bodies that may have been buried in that
Yeah,
like real?
we had we
Yeah.
had we had we had located them with the ground penetrating radar prior to doing the pond dive. Yeah.
Oh wow. So what led you to that to wanting to penetrate the ground? What led you? Was there some clues that
Just
you picked up on? Or?
the folklore stories of the location, and the only way to
Mhm.
debunk a folklore story is to actually um, dive into it and try to see if you can prove anything.
Yep.
Possibly with what and supposedly there's bodies buried on the property,
Oh, I
and
believe
so
it. I
we
believe it.
started looking, and we
Yeah.
found.
Yeah, for sure. Rhode Island's a small state, and we have a lot of these historical cemeteries. There's like 7,000 that have been found, but there's estimated like upward around 15,000 that people haven't found, and they may or may not find because when they might not be marked correctly, or they will like people would bury their dead back in the day at the end of that property, and they
Right.
some of them would have a
Well,
cemetery, and others really wouldn't. So
that's what I feel like. The first were definitely buried, like it was a grave site, so there's
hmm
one here. So it was strategically placed, probably
hmm
dead bodies. The other
hmm
one is not, that we found. So
oh
this looks
wow.
more like a grave, like this is where they buried their dead on their property.
Were they like? Can you tell were they like facing the setting sun? Were the markings on the stone were they
They were so
like
faded, you can't even
yeah, they
tell.
were faded. Like here in Rhode
They
Island, we
were
have
in water.
oh wow, yeah. So that must have like deteriorated them some. Here in Rhode Island, we have like the typical grave markers going back to like the 1600s. Then we have like field stone markers, and a lot of them are Quakers, where they won't put the month. They'll put a third month, but they won't say March because that's a pagan.
Right.
A lot of the beliefs like that is are they like actual tombstones or are they like field stone markers or
No, like
anything?
a field stone marker. It was
Yeah,
chiseled, stone
yeah,
tool. So
old school shit. Yeah,
yeah.
oh, that's fascinating, dude. And your book on the hints. Does this cover all this? Does this cover the what is that? What is the book
No,
called about?
I have a new one that's almost finished, and we'll be covering some of the newer stuff. But that book was up until the point where what I knew up till then. Some of this,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the stories of the folklore, the history of the house, stuff like that is in that book, which is
Yep.
very interesting, and some of the stuff we've been able to dive into since then. So I have more to write about.
I'm sure it's also fascinating, dude. I'm sure you could write book after book after book, owning a house like this, and having some of the, like I said, some of the ability just to be able to do that kind of research on such a regular basis. It's every investigator's dream. So good for you for landing upon the Hinsdale House. If people want to like book a night or like look into this or look into any of your stuff on YouTube, where can they find your stuff, Daniel?
Just what you have it scrolling right there, danielklaes.com. All the links for Hinsdale House and my social media and stuff are on that page.
Awesome.
If you want to book a night and you don't want to go to my page, you can go to hauntedhinsdalehouse.com and book it right directly there too. You don't care to look at my face or anything like that. You can just go right to the Haunted Hinsdale.
And your show, the TV show that you guys do, the
Deathwalker.
Yeah. Where can people see that stuff? Yeah.
So that's, I mean, if you have a Roku or streaming device, if you just go to the search bar and type in Deathwalker, there's probably about 18 different places you can watch it right now. We're just finishing up production, post-production on season 5. 20 more episodes will be coming out hopefully very soon. Just got a few more to upload. Kicking Nick in the ass, trying to get those done. But he's working hard on them, man. He does all the editing, everything, and we have some assistance with it, but he is a workhorse, man.
Hey, I have a beer show. I talked about in the beginning of the show. We do a Three Dudes Brews. It's we just travel to different breweries and talk to different brewers about beers and beer culture and all this stuff. And one of my dudes, Ed, he does all the editing and all the production and stuff. And I've been busting his balls almost to get the show up, but he really does. It is a lot of man hours, a lot of time that goes into editing this stuff. So it's good to him, kudos to Nick, because it's a bitch for sure. Whether you have
to when you have to get it for
cool. All right, man. Dan, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming on. Your thoughts? I just really quick before we wrap up. I know you're a fan of the awful Buffalo Bills. What are your thoughts on this season? What do you think? Where do you think they're going to go? You guys going to go wide right this year? You're going to fly to the end. What do you think?
I think we're flying to the end this year or next year. If it's not this year, it'll be with the new stadium next year.
Yeah, for sure.
We got a lot of young talent. I'm expecting big things out of Keon Coleman this year. I feel like watching them practicing. There's some magic there. Dalton Kincaid's going to be stepping up this year.
Yep.
So there's a lot of weapons for Josh Allen. We got Harrison now. We got some good weapons, and I don't know. I think Josh Allen makes them.
Oh, dude, so. he's an awesome quarterback. I hate the Bills, but I mean, because I'm a Dolphins fan. But when my Dolphins get knocked out of the playoffs, of course I'm go Bills all day. It's a wonderful. Orchard Park is a wonderful little community. I do like I forget the name of it. Right across the street, there's a place they have wings and beer. We went there when I came up for week 10. Awesome wings. The beer is really good. A lot of table jumping, but it's not all like I'm a Dolphins fan in New England, and when I go to Gillette to see my Dolphins play, whether we win or lose, I get tortured. People like throw beers at me. People throw ice balls at me. People call me awful, atrocious names. I go to Buffalo, and people are like, "Hey, dude, have some of my chicken." I go to Baltimore, and people buy me beers in the breweries. Like, where am I? What is this? Yeah, it's a great community.
City of good neighbors.
For sure. I look forward to getting back up to the Buffalo region this year. And hopefully my Dolphins can bring it this year, even though I don't think they will. But hopefully we almost won last year. So I hope maybe, but probably not. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. But thanks for coming on, Dan. Dan, are you're a baseball fan too? You're a Yankees fan, aren't you? Are you a Yankees fan?
No, I'm I don't know. I follow Detroit and Boston.
Oh, good. Go Red Sox then, dude. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that. Thanks for being from New York and not being a Yankees fan, I guess. Thanks for tuning in tonight. If you enjoyed Daniel Klaes, come back on next week as we welcome Zoe Marie. She's from Zoe Mary. She's from the great state of New Hampshire. She's another paranormal investigator. She's going to come on. We're going to talk all sorts of ghost stuff. Her and her team recently went to Gettysburg. A lovely little town there in Pennsylvania. We'll talk about all things Gettysburg next week. For Daniel, this has been Buddy Day, the Ghost and the Ghost. Tune in Thursday, the beer show. Next Tuesday, the Ghost show. It's always fun. Drink good beer. That's it. Try to save. Go Red Sox. That's all I got for you guys.